A very good evening and welcome to this Sunday's edition of News First Weekend, coming to you live from our Newsfirst Centre in Colombo. I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka. Let's start off with a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
Delay in bringing back Sri Lankans who are stranded in Yemen as fighting intensifies. Lanka flight carrying 159 passengers returns to Katunayake Airport with technical faults. Passengers left in the lurch. Political clashes in Negombo. Government ministers make revelations on the implementation of the law.
Inquiries made by Newsfirst have revealed that diplomatic talks are still underway to secure the evacuation of Sri Lankan expatriates trapped in the Yemeni capital Sana'a amid heightening tensions in the country.
Reports indicate that at least 120 Sri Lankans are in the capital Sana'a and surrounding areas. Newsfirst made inquiries from the Foreign Employment Bureau regarding steps that have been taken to evacuate Sri Lankan nationals from Yemen. All preparations have been made to relocate all Sri Lankans working in Yemen to Saudi Arabia unharmed. We are engaging in the task of rescuing them in coordination with the embassy in Oman and the Yemeni authorities. Although Newsfirst made several attempts to contact officials at the Sri Lankan embassy in Oman to make further inquiries, our attempts were not successful. We also contacted the Sri Lankan embassy in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Oman has not informed us. It cannot happen without us knowing either. We are also looking into the situation. We too are waiting for instructions. Oman hasn't said anything. We need to look into it too. The acting Sri Lankan ambassador in Oman has held talks with the Pakistani and Indian embassies in Oman. The discussions reveal that since all of these people are secure, there is no immediate need to evacuate them to another country. However, if the need arises, then the ability exists to coordinate with the Pakistani and Indian embassies and rescue Sri Lankan nationals too, along with the nationals of those countries.
Well, we have a comprehensive report on the heightening conflict in Yemen coming up on the international desk. A tense situation arose at an event held to distribute nutrition packs in Pitipana, Negombo this morning.
The Janasadara Community Service Centre in Negombo was declared open today parallel to an event held to distribute nutrition packs to pregnant mothers. The event was held under the auspices of the Mayor of Negombo, Anton Jayavira. Tensions flared when former Minister of Fisheries Sarath Kumara Gunaratna arrived at the location with a group of aides a short while after the ceremony commenced.
A Lanka flight to Dhaka carrying 159 passengers had to be brought back to the Katunayake airport today shortly after takeoff.
Mihin Lanka flight MRL 501 was to depart from Dhaka at 7:30. However, it was delayed by 2 hours. Though the flight took off after the delay, the plane had to be landed due to technical difficulty.
Technical fault එකක් වෙලා තමයි ඒක back to base උනේ.
It had to be brought back to base due to a technical fault. When there are technical faults in an aircraft and when the weather is unsure, we bring planes back to base. That means we bring it back to the apron. The airline is fully responsible for the passengers.
උන්න බාරයේ තියෙන අයිතිය ඔක්කොම airline එකට.
Our attempts to contact Mihin Lanka authorities at the airport at the Colombo office with regard to the incident proved futile. The stranded passengers had to wait since morning without any information from a responsible authority.
We had a very, very terrifying and really life-threatening experience this morning. The plane started wobbling a bit and suddenly the captain announced that we have to turn back and return to Colombo. And air hostess and stewardess started running up and down and telling everybody to put their seat belts on. And the little kids were terrified and asked their parents, why are we going back to Sri Lanka? There were a lot of foreigners as well, a few of them. And once we got back, fortunately, we landed safely. And since landing in Sri Lanka, that was around, say, 10:25 to 10:35. There was no senior person to even receive us at the airport.
It is reported that there had been 159 passengers on the plane apart from the crew members. The majority of the passengers had booked a separate flight with another airline after paying extra and have left for Dhaka. According to the flight schedule displayed at the airport, it was stated that the flight had been rescheduled for 9 p.m. tonight.
Minister of Public Order Minister John Amaratunga says the masterminds of 2 assassinations which captured the nation's attention will be revealed in the days to come.
The era where they used to come in white vans, abduct, strangle and then murder has come to an end. In the days to come, we will capture the man who shot Ravi Raj, a former Tamil MP. He has been found, but the witness has not said who gave the order. He will reveal that too tomorrow or the day after. The assassination of Lasantha Wickramatunge too has been extensively investigated and it has been ascertained to a great extent as to who was behind the incident. We will not abandon any of this. There are more. I think we may have to bring some from America in order to get everyone on the list. We have received some astounding complaints. The minister made these remarks at an event held in Gampaha to provide motorcycles to Pradeshi Sabha members under the concessionary scheme.
The annual general meeting of the Petroleum Dealers Association was held at the Sri Lanka Foundation Institute today under the auspices of Minister of Power and Energy, Pathali Champika Ranawaka.
Politicians of this country did not take such bold decisions. They worked for the day and they focused only on the upcoming election. It is as a result of this that we are facing this situation. Those who took ransom from petrol sheds have become Nelson Mandelas after going to prison. What a country this is. When thieves are put in prison, they say they are victims of political vengeance. Why have they gone to prison? For massive theft. Therefore, we must put an end to ransom politics. You can report directly to our Ministry of Power and Energy. This is the end of ransom politics and commission politics.
The following views were expressed at various events held across the island.
To those who are trying to bring Mahinda back, we say, build ports without ships, airports without aeroplanes, and promote the murderers and thieves once again. What we can understand is that several groups are now afraid that their own theft will come to light now that Basil Rajapaksa has said that he is coming back. They fear he will reveal more theft under the guise of assisting the investigation.
Seychelles
Seychelles is one of the major locations in the world for money laundering. There was a time where people could not comprehend it when we said so. Look at what is happening now. We have been informed now that close to $1 billion American were taken from Dubai and then deposited in Ukraine. $1 billion American is equivalent to 130 billion Sri Lankan rupees. Whose money is this? We need a new economic system in order to change this.
We will go in for an election either together or separately. We will form a national government again after the election. This national government will govern the country for 2 years. Through this governance, national policies will be formulated for every field. All have come together to formulate the national policy. Who will be the best at implementing those policies? You can give power to the party that is best able to do this. Then Sri Lanka will become a developed state.
The cottage of Priyantha Sirisena, the late brother of the president, was brought to his house in Athumalpitiya, Polonnaruwa early this morning.
Priyantha Sirisena, who was receiving treatment at a private hospital in Colombo, passed away at 3:30 last morning. His body was handed over to friends and relatives subsequent to a post-mortem examination early this morning. A number of politicians and area residents were present to pay their last respects to the brother of the president. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe paid his last respects this evening. Opposition leader Nima Siripala de Silva was also among those who paid their respects. Priyantha Sirisena was the father of 3 and only 43 years old at the time of his demise. The final rites will be observed at the Polonnaruwa Public Cemetery tomorrow evening.
A suspect was arrested by the police today for the murder of the Ratkama Pradeshya Sabha chairman Manoj Mendes. Police Media spokesperson ASP Ruwan Gunasekara stated that the suspect, who is a resident of the Mitiagoda area, had driven a vehicle allegedly used by the perpetrators who committed the crime. The suspect is to be presented at an identification parade.
The funeral of the Ratkama Pradeshya Sabha chairman Manoj Mendes, who was violently shot down, took place earlier today. Floral tributes fell from the skies as his funeral procession traversed from Ratkama Pradeshya Sabha to his residence. He was buried under a tree in his garden where he used to meet with the public.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe has announced that a coordinating office of the Prime Minister will be constructed in the northern province. He made this announcement at a rally held in Kilinochchi today.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe engaged in an inspection tour in the Kilinochchi district today. Ranil Wickremesinghe was warmly welcomed at the Kilinochchi district secretariat. A group including the Minister of Resettlement and Hindu Affairs D.M. Swaminathan and Deputy Minister of Women's Affairs Vijayakala Maheswaran were present at this occasion. A group of TNA provincial councillors were also present during discussions held at the Kilinochchi district secretariat. In 2009, Kilinochchi was ranked the poorest district in Sri Lanka. But in 2014, Munragala was listed as the poorest district. This shows that there is a certain degree of work which has taken place, but not all problems have been solved. What must be done now is that the work which was carried out by the security forces must slowly transition and must be led by the civil sector. Transition. That is why we are trying to strengthen the civil sector, and this responsibility will be handed over to them. We will be working towards further development of the Mullaitivu and Kilinochchi districts. The public has an interest to do this. After having looked at the problems faced by the North, I have decided to appoint an officer and establish a coordinating office of the Prime Minister. We hope to see the progress that will take place together with their assistance.
On the Sadhana program telecast on our sister channel Sirasa TV last night, proposals for the media sector contained in the draft amendment to the Constitution were taken up for debate.
If we take a common policy into consideration, we must have the right to impose some guidelines for media during an election. I don't know whether it is the overriding of rights. If this is to be prevented from happening, then a competent authority should be appointed. The right to appoint a competent authority existed earlier as well. No, it did not exist for the private media. It was there in the state media.
The argument here is that it is used as private property.
That is what I said. Earlier, the right to appoint a competent authority for state media existed. Yes, it was. Therefore, now there is a common one. Therefore, I think that this is something that needs to be discussed. We also believe that monitoring media through the Elections Commission needs to be done.
ඒක වචනයක් ඒක පාලනය දක්වා යන එකේ මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙන්නේ. ඔව් ඒක මොකද අනිත් එක
monitoring is a word, but that extending to control is the problem. You are saying private media because you got coverage from it.
ඒ කියන්නේ ඒක වහලා කතා කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැනේ. දැන් මේ නිකන් සරතෝබද්‍ර මේ මාධ්‍යයක් හදනවයි කියන එක
සාධාරණ එහෙම කරන්න බෑ.
හැබැයි ඇත්තටම ගත්තාම
now what happens after the appointment of the competent authority is the control of media through the election commission. I don't know whether this was discussed anywhere else as well, but you will not discuss this with the United National Party. We believe that you will stand for our rights or the rights of the media.
එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයත් එක්ක ඉඳගෙන මේ පිටපත සාකච්ඡා කරන්නේ නැති වෙයි. අපි අපේ අයිතීන් වෙනුවොත් මාධ්‍ය අයිතීන් වෙනුවොත් පෙනී හිටී කියලා අපි හිතනවා.
The central bank reports that foreign remittances from Sri Lankan expatriates working abroad reduced significantly in January.
Earnings from foreign remittances sent back by Sri Lankan workers abroad is one of the main streams of foreign exchange revenue for Sri Lanka. The central bank reports that foreign remittances in January amounted to $523.5 million, a 5.8% decrease from the $555.5 billion earned in January 2014. Earnings from foreign remittances in December 2014 amounted to $708.8 million. The central bank has also expressed its belief that earnings from foreign remittances will increase during the Sinhala Tamil New Year season.
Getting back to one of our local stories, a protest was held at the Golf Fest Green today against the prohibition of full face helmets for motorcyclists.
The protest had been organized by motorcycle clubs and riders.
The thief cannot be stopped simply through prohibition. If they continue to thieve even after you prohibit it, what will you do? They come in Pajeros and Monteros. They come in vehicles with tinted shutters. Are you going to prohibit Pajeros? Now the thief can use an open face helmet with a handkerchief and sunglasses. Even then they cannot be identified. Will they ban handkerchiefs and sunglasses too?
The protesters arrived at the Prime Minister's office in a motorcycle rally. They submitted a letter highlighting points against the prohibition of full-face helmets to an Assistant Secretary of the PMO. The protesters also visited the Kandana residence of the Minister of Public Order, John Amaratunga, and submitted a letter to him.
This was a decision taken by the Ministry of Defence. So when such a decision is made, we cannot oppose it. Now they have submitted a written document stating many facts. With this, I will also submit a letter to the Security Council to consider this decision.
Inspirational indeed. And with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of News First Weekend. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night.